Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is going to be very laid back, very chill. Got some wine. I wanted to talk because none of my videos have really been chatty chats. Most of my videos have either been about fashion or makeup. And at the beginning of this whole YouTube journey that I started, I mentioned on my first video that I wanted to talk to you guys about life stuff. So today's subject is going to be online dating, do's and don'ts, or really just my experiences. If you are interested in watching or finding out these experiences or what I think about it, keep on watching. I started doing the whole online dating probably back in like 2013, 2014. I've actually had two of my most significant relationships start via online. So, and they were just like the free websites. Anywho, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you not to do it, because I think that if you are of a certain age, it is really hard, especially like if you don't have an actively social life like you do when you're in high school or college. You know, you're not out meeting as many people as I would say college students are. So for me, I don't really have a crazy social life because all my friends mostly are married and have kids, or like my family members are all pretty much married and have kids. So for me, and I work a lot, so I do have a job. YouTube isn't my full-time thing. I didn't start my YouTube channel for that reason. This is just to share my life experiences, my journeys, really just record my experiences in life in general, aside from makeup and hair and all that good stuff. Anyway, so back on track here. So I started a long time ago, and as I said, two of my most significant relationships did start out of online. I should probably tell you the funny ones, like the bad stories. So right off the top of my head, I have two of the most terrible dates I've ever been on, okay? And I don't want to say anybody's name, so I'm just gonna give them like code names or something. So first worst date of all time, like offline, online, whatever. This is just my ultimate worst date ever. So I think it was probably one of my first dates, and this guy lived about 30 minutes south of where I live. I should have known, okay? I should have known that this was gonna just be a shit show. So this guy, turns out that he needed me to go drive to him, right? Well, do you not drive or something? And we are in our 20s, okay? Late 20s at this point. So he was like, well, I have anxiety when I get behind the wheel, so I don't really drive. And I'm like, okay. He wasn't really a stranger, because I had actually met him at a club that I went to, a nightclub that I went to with my girlfriends. And then we actually happened to run into each other on this website, so we kind of knew each other, so it wasn't like a stranger. So I was like, okay, well, maybe this whole anxiety thing is just temporary. Maybe there's like a fix. Sorry if you hear something, it's my dog. He's all over this area. Okay, so then it turns out that he lived hella far. Like half an hour is kind of far for when you're the one driving, and I don't know, I just think 30 minutes is a little out there. Maybe closer to 40 minutes. So I pick him up, and it's like, I have the hardest time because there were like all these like roundabouts where he's from. It was just like this really annoying drive. And so I rushed out of my house because I was already running behind, and it turned out that he was running behind. So it made me very frustrated that I was rushing myself, because thinking like that I was making him wait. In reality, I'm the one who ended up waiting. I don't know how it came about, but we were trying to decide what we were gonna do. We had talked about going to play some pool, maybe get some drinks, get some food, what have you. So because rushed out of my house, I didn't pump gas and I was already like on E. And I have a terrible, terrible habit. Like, my mom hates this about me. When I lived at home, she used to like get so mad at me because I would always have my car on E because I'm so lazy to get out of my car. I live in a really cold state, so I don't want to get out and pump gas. Like, that's annoying. I think that's just annoying. Any boyfriend, any good boyfriend that I've ever had has pumped the gas for me, so maybe I'm just spoiled. I don't know, whatever. So anywho, back on track, Letty, back on track. It turns out that I was like on hella E. So I was like, hold on, let me go to the gas station, pump some gas, and we'll go on our merry way. I am pulled in and he actually offered, he's like, oh, I'll pump it if you want. So I'm like, okay, well, let me get my wallet or whatever. And this is almost like a test, like a, let me get my wallet. So I was gonna see if he like offered himself maybe, like, I mean, I wasn't like wanting him to, but I just wanted to see if he would have offered himself to pump my gas, so which he did. But I was like, let me get my wallet, right? So let me make a longer story short. I can't find my wallet anywhere. And I remembered like, oh my God, I switched my purse. Holy shit, I don't have my wallet. I'm panicking. I'm like looking everywhere. And this guy is like almost tearing my car apart looking for my wallet, right? So I'm like, wait a minute, like, why are you so concerned if I have my wallet or not? So then I'm like, okay, well, I'm sorry, I can't find my wallet. I must have left it at home. Like, you know, can you just go pump like $10 or something and I will pay you when I get back home? And he was like, yeah, so I only have like $10. Hold the fuck on. You're on a date, bro. And he's like, I'll get paid at midnight. And I'm like, it's like 9 o'clock. Like, what are we gonna do for 3 hours? You expect me to wait around until like when? I was like, I drive here. You're a dude. You have no money, and I'm going through this like whole bonanza craziness. And I'm like thinking, like, what kind of a grown ass man doesn't have a car, doesn't have money for a fucking date? Like, don't go on the date. Like, if you know that you don't get paid till the next day, we could have waited to go on our date the next day. And let me tell you something, like, I'm not the kind of girl that expects the guy to pay for all this stuff because I hold my own. Like, I'm an independent person, like a woman, like I get that. But if you're courting a woman, the least thing that you can do is like make sure that your shit is together, okay? If it would have been one thing if he wanted to go Dutch and say like, you pay for your shit, I'll pay for my shit, like whatever, that's another story. But the way how it went down was just so annoying, and I was frustrated, I was rushed, I was hungry, I was annoyed that I didn't have my wallet, I was out of my element, I had like almost no gas. So I was like, you know what? Let's take you home. Okay, he had pumped my gas, and I was like, I'm gonna take you home, drop you off, not take you home. No, I did not take him home. I dropped him off at his own house. So that was my worst date ever. We're gonna call him Gas Boy. Gas Boy's a good name. Let me see, date number 2, worst date ever. The worst date, second worst date I've ever had from anybody, online or off of, not online. Ooh. Yes, this one is so stupid, and it's kind of embarrassing, but whatever. I'm sharing my life here. So this guy had been hitting me up consistently, like over and over and over, and then until I finally gave in and was like, fine, I'll go on a date with you. So he was living in my local town. This is years later, like after my failed relationships, and you know, I was newly single. I had just broken up with somebody like a couple months before, and I was feeling like I needed to put myself out there, and you know, online's always available, and it's no commitments. You don't have to take it that serious. It's just almost like something to keep you entertained and occupied, you know what I mean? So you're not at home like being sappy and sad. So I go on this date. I meet up with this guy at this like local pub, and we start to order drinks. He was hungry. I myself was not hungry because I wasn't even sure that I really was gonna stay at the date. So I didn't want to commit to ordering food because then I would have had to have stayed longer. So I was like, okay, well, let me just get some drinks here. Let me just get some drinks. So we order our drinks, beer. I'm a total beer girl. I do like wine, but so I am looking at him and I was like, I mean, he's not the worst looking guy, but he's not the cutest guy. And then he takes off his jacket, and I'm not being superficial or anything like that, but like he had like an older man's body. Like, it was weird. It was like, I can't explain it. Like, he just had like this weird like beer belly, and like, I don't know, maybe it's what he was wearing. I have no idea, but he looked like an old man. I felt like I was on a date with like a grandpa, and he's my age. I am not old, okay? I don't look that old. I don't look my age. Well, at least I look my age. I'm 33 years old, by the way. The worst part about it is that he was talking to me about another female that he had met a while back from a different state, because I guess he was new to the area or something. And I'm thinking like, bro, you're here on a date with me and you're talking to me about some other girl. And it's like not even like, oh yeah, I went on this date and met this girl and she was great. No, it was like total diss on this poor woman, talking so terribly awful about this female and her body, which is why I felt like I could tell you guys about his body, since he felt so comfortable talking about somebody else's body and like body shaming them and like just being really awful. Like, I don't even want to repeat the stuff that he was saying, but let me just tell you, this guy was a freaking jerk. Like, women, our bodies change. Like, when we have kids, our bodies change and things don't always go back to how they were. Sometimes, you know, stuff happens and it's nature, and we're still beautiful. You know what I mean? It isn't just about physical attraction. This is about spiritually, emotionally, just things. I'm sure this woman was great, because he even said that they had a great conversation. She was wonderful, which is why he couldn't wait to date her. And when he had her, basically they were about to do it, okay? He, I guess, was so turned off by her body that he like called it off. So when he said that to me, I was like, I can't. Not okay with what you said and how you were talking about this woman. Well, this guy like went in even harder about the same girl and all this stuff, and I was just like, my phone kept going off actually, and it was my brother was messaging me because my dog was sick and all this stuff. So I was like, you know what, my dog is sick. I know it was the lamest excuse ever, but I was like, hey, my dog is sick. I have to go to the store and get some stuff for him. So can we go? Like, can we get the check? And then he was like, oh, no, it's okay. Like, I'll get the check, and if you want to go, you can go. So then I was like, great. And you know, I don't know if you've ever watched the episode of Friends when Chandler goes on a date with Rachel's boss, and he keeps egging her on, saying like, well, this has been great, we should do it again sometime, instead of being honest and like saying, I'll call you, instead of saying I'll call you or we should do this again. Or that's what Chandler did. Chandler was saying, I'll call you, this has been great, let's do it again sometime. He was just leading her on instead of saying, hey, I don't want to date you, I don't think that this is gonna work out and whatever. So then Rachel's boss kept bugging Rachel, saying, well, Chandler said he was gonna call, why hasn't he called? Why hasn't he called, Rachel? Why hasn't he called? So I played the Chandler card. I wanted to go off on him and tell him all this stuff because I was just disgusted with how he was acting, that I don't know, I fucked up. I panicked and I wanted to get out of there so badly. And I was like, okay, well, thanks for the drinks. we should do it again sometime. And as soon as I said those words, I knew that he knew that it wasn't gonna happen. I mean, I left the poor guy in the middle of dinner and a drink, and I bounced. Like, I didn't care. I just left. Dates ever. If you are in it for the right reasons and your heart is open, you have to be careful as well, though. Protect yourself, protect your heart. Don't just think that you're gonna fall in love with the first person. Just don't think that you're gonna fall in love with the first person you meet. I mean, you might get lucky and fall in love with the first person you meet, but chances are you won't. So you have to be very selective, be very careful. As I said, if you have one person that you're really liking, make sure that you get to know them. Make sure that you aren't just being played with. Make sure that this person also wants you as much as you want them. Make sure that it's like solidified, you know what I mean? Guys, I hope my advice and all these stories helped you out some. Look for those red flags, okay? You have to be careful. I don't have a special system. I just I don't bullshit. Like, if you're full of shit, I don't respond to you. If I like you and we hit it off, I want to meet you right away. I'm not gonna wait a year or 6 months and be on Catfish, you know, having Neve knocking on my goddamn window. I mean, my door. None of that shit. I don't really have a whole lot else to say. I personally had a lot of fun when I was doing online dating. It was great. I'm no longer online dating, okay? I'm a nice lady now. I'm just kidding. I just don't have the need for it, if you know what I'm saying. That's really it. Just go out there and have a good time, you know. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, I guess, is really another good advice, you know. Don't be fooled. Like, I made the mistake of like putting all my eggs in one basket, and then that basket like went off onto something else, and then I was like, whoa. So, you know, when people are online dating, they're talking to multiple people. Unless you like really capture their attention, then you'll be the one and only. But until you're not sure that you are the one and only, girl, do not put them eggs in one basket. Same with you fellas. If you're not sure that this girl is only dating you, don't spend all your chatter on her. Don't spend all your money on her. Talk to other girls too, shit. Until you guys solidify it and make it official, then have a good time. So let's see. Go out there, have a good time. Be careful. Don't put all eggs in one basket until you know that you're the only basket, okay? Don't just go on dates for, you know, dinners, free dinners. People are out here at these troubled times, you know? Anyway, I don't know, I'm like rambling off because I think this alcohol is starting to kick in. If you guys want to hear more stories or more about online dating, hit me up, leave some comments, let me know what you want to know about. If you are not subscribed, go ahead and hit that notifications button or subscribe button and the notification so you get notified when I do post, so you know what's going on here. Thank you guys so much for watching. I so appreciate you guys tuning in.